StreamYard yet?
Not yet.
Hey everyone, welcome. Happy Wednesday. I have to say I am still on just like such a high from our pediatric pelvic floor infertility and pregnancy boot camp last weekend at Sherman College. I'm super proud of all of us that we did the very first hybrid event that Sherman has ever done. So we were in the Gilardi Center as well. We were live virtually. And all got to be together from all over the world, which was super fun, and it went off perfectly. So thanks to the team at Sherman and thanks to my team and all the speakers that made it possible. You know, last year's event was incredible, and I knew we could top it, and then now that we topped it, I'm like, wow. And we'll be releasing details of next year's event, which is going to be called the boot camp. Is going to be called Pediatric Plus Boot Camp. And just so all of you know, I listened to your feedback and all of you have asked for more hands-on and labs. And so we're going to have a lot. And next year it's going to be Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, and plan to stick around on Sunday so we can all have fun together and just kind of unwind after a really intense week. So Dr. Sarah, thanks for joining me today.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. So let's just go like right where our conversation started, and let's give everyone a little bit of a history. When you graduated, then you did an associateship, and now you and your fiance are opening your own practice, or have opened your own practice. And let's talk about the dream that you just had.
So I went to Sherman, which was obviously the best. And that's where Sean and I met. So that's kind of our little story. I knew I wanted to associate for like a year or two after school, just to kind of get my feet wet and make some mistakes on somebody else's dollar. And so I told him, like, I've always wanted to be in New York City. So like, if you're coming, come with me. If not, then like, this has been fun. But so he can. And now we're about 2.5 years into our associateships in New York, and we just bought a house in Bradley Beach, New Jersey, and opened our practice. Our official like open date is April 1st, so we're about 30 days away from that. But so we're pregnancy peds office, family care. Sean always jokes that Tom is his ideal patient. Like, I'll see the moms and the babies, and he and the dads will hang out in the back. But we just today are going over just kind of like our fee schedules, what we want that to look like. And last night we did a manifestation meditation together, and I kept picturing, like, I kept seeing us in our busy practice with all the kids and everybody running around. And I, like pulled up my Quicken workbook or whatever. And it said for first year of opening, we made $1.2 million. And so all night I just kept seeing that number. And so I kind of had the mental blocks of like, well, we're just getting started. Like, how could we possibly get to that point? But I'm just like, why wouldn't I?
And it's just our thinking.
Yeah.
And it was interesting at the PEDS boot camp, one session was called Thinking Creates Our Reality, right? And as you know, we talk about this a lot in the boot camp, and some would perhaps say to you, well, why in the world would you come up with something like that? Well, anyone who would think that, I say, why in the world would you come up with the stuff that you think? Like, thinking is our magic wand. So why not? I mean, if thoughts could say, oh, we're only supposed to make 50,000, why can't thinking say 1.2 million? I mean, it's just zeros. And why not? It's not like there's a shortage of individuals who need regular chiropractic care. It's not like there's a shortage of babies who need to be checked, analyzed, and adjusted for vertebral subluxation. There isn't a shortage of money. There's $84 trillion on the planet. So why not have 1.2 million be the target? Why not that be the new idea of what we have as chiropractors for your first year out in business?
Yeah.
I mean, we've made up all kinds of other stuff that just like really doesn't lead to the results that any of us want to live in. So I love that. Congratulations. What have you learned in the boot camp that makes that kind of thinking commonplace for you?
Something that I think we keep coming back to over the last few weeks has been, you can't think for somebody else. So, when you're talking to somebody about your fees, like, your fees are your fees. You don't need to justify them. You don't need to tell somebody why you're worth what you're charging them. You just have to continue to educate them so they get the big idea of why chiropractic is so important for them and their family and everybody they've ever met. Like, why shouldn't they bring everybody to you? So you can't go into the financial conversation of like, well, they're going to say no, or like, oh, they're in the same place we are just starting out, so like they probably don't have that much. You can't think for somebody else. You have to just go in saying like, this is what I'm worth, this is what you're going to pay me.
So can I do some live coaching on that?
Sure.
So think about this for a second. So in our coaching, is it your responsibility as a boot camper to pay me my worth?
Yeah.
You can't pay me my worth.
Well,
you can't. Right? But we say all kinds of silly things that keep being repeated to us. No one is paying us our worth. Right? And as soon as we look for people to pay our worth, then we suddenly made it about us instead of about them. And not one person is coming into our practice, just like not one person joins the boot camp about me. No one comes into our practices about us. They come into our practices about them and the life that they want to live that they're not currently able to live. So I want to invite Sarah, as well as all of you who are watching this, dump this idea of getting paid your worth. So let's say that you earned 1.2 million. Is that your worth?
If that's what we do in the first year, like, what else could we have done?
But listen to what you're saying. My worth is 1.2 million. Isn't your worth like priceless?
Yeah.
And your worth then is summarized in a 1 year period of work? I don't think so. Your worth way eclipses that, just like my worth does too. So words are really powerful. Like if I said, or either one of us said to our guys, I love you, and then turned around and said, I hate you. Big difference, right? Just like these words, like saying I get paid my worth, or I'm setting my fees to be paid my worth. Our worth doesn't come from what we produce. Our worth is who we are at the core, right? And even if you weren't producing, you still have worth and value, right? And that's for all of us. Our worth isn't our performance. It's not tied to our production. It's who we are. And honestly, it's no one else's responsibility to show me I'm of worth. It's written in my operating system, our knowing. That's our natural state, is a state of joy and immense worth. Does that make sense?
Yeah, for sure.
Love this. Thanks, Dr. Barb. You're welcome. Somebody else said absolutely spot on. So when we're free to think in that way, what's available then? Especially when you look at this, Sarah, price is what is paid, right? So let's say my care plan is $5,000. That's the price that I'm paying for my care plan. What value is available to me as your practice member?
Yeah.
What value would be? So if I pay you $5,000 right now for a year of care, what value, though, is available to me?
Well, we would give you specialized, personalized care for your whole family, but also we become a resource for you. So, you're not just coming in to get your 2-minute adjustment, you're also getting however much time we spend together to bounce questions off of us, to get human connection, which is something we've all been needing for the last 12 months, to get something more than just, your weekly adjustment.
So if price is what is paid and value is what somebody gets, whose responsibility is it to create value?
I would say it's a team effort between us, the chiropractors, and the patients.
I love how you stated that. So to all of you, it's your responsibility to show your practice members how they can derive the maximum value from a relationship with you, but it's their responsibility to extract the value. Like, for instance, in the boot camp. So, like the boot camp this weekend, the pediatric boot camp that we did, lots of value was available. If you raised your hand and asked me questions, if you stepped into VIP, if you stayed at the boot camp house, if you actually showed up, put your phone on the floor and paid attention, like immense value was available. And I demonstrate and show how to get the most value, but it's up to every single person to extrapolate whatever they have decided is the value that they're going to get personally from the investment that they make, right? Like, for instance, let's say it was a really hot day and we were out hiking somewhere and neither one of us remembered to bring water. And when we got done with our hike, then there was somebody there with ice cold water. What value, if they charged us this for that ice cold water, would the value that we derived from that bottle of water be greater than if you just right now had a glass of water in your office? Yes. So value is what is derived, and it's dependent on the individual. We can't create, and I've been guilty of saying this before too, because I didn't know better. Now I understand mind thought consciousness, and I understand that price is what is paid and value is what you get. It's not our job to create more value for people. We can't do that. It is our job to show them how they can get more value. So the things like you just said, like resources, we are your resources. We have an amazing Rolodex. Like, you can go here and we can refer you to this person for this kind of service. And we have articles and we have testimonials and we do these walking clubs and we have a lactation consultant and we have all of these things that you can tap into to increase the amount of value that you enjoy. You can ask us questions. You can stay consistent with your care plan. All of that is going to drive up the value that you get from your care. Or you can be somebody who comes in at your, late for your appointment in a crappy mood, right? And then, and with them, the attitude that I have something to prove to you, and you will get less value from your investment. So as you're establishing your prices, remember, price is what they pay, but what is the value that they can get, and how will you communicate that availability to them? That's the key. So what does make your office different than every other practice?
So we are one of 2 Webster certified offices in central New Jersey. So that's a huge deal. There's lots of young, new families in the area, especially the town that we opened in, Manasquan. There's really good school system there, and all the little beach towns are only about, like 2 square miles each. So people can travel fairly easily to us, and there's not enough of us, so they do need us.
Why would anyone care that you do Webster? What's on the other side of that?
So people, the first thing that I've noticed, especially on the Northeast, is when you say, I take care of pregnant women and babies, I get why would a chiropractor crack a baby's neck? Like, stuff like that. So obviously the education is lacking too. So in our office, we have ourselves, the chiropractic team. There's also a family counselor. There's a Reiki master, a doula, pre and postpartum doulas, and a pregnancy loss counselor. which none of us knew this going in. We all just rent from the same building. And it was like, as everybody's shingles went up, we all realized that like the universe was just like, and here's your home. So,
wow, that was so cool. So you have like multidisciplinary without you having to bring it all together.
exactly. So that was super exciting. That was another little, like nod from the universe of you're in the right place. So literally we're a one-stop shop. Not only do you have us as your resources, but you have all these other fantastic female-owned businesses. Thank you very much. That the mothers and families can come to. They do mom groups. They do, we're 2 blocks to the beach. So we walk the boardwalk together, all this cool stuff. That really makes life a little bit easier for everybody to be in one place.
I love that. So like Dr. Stacy Lowe just put, we're your pregnancy go-to center. Your prenatal, pregnancy, and postnatal community, right? Because what you're talking about there is all community. Let's do walks together. Let's do this. Let's do this. Let's collaborate on your care with one another, your care together. So going back to Webster, what is the result that someone wants or needs Webster for?
Knowing that the person that is giving them their care has the highest education possible. I think that's important for the area we're in because it's a very highly educated area, but also I think it just helps that they know that they have a place to go when like pregnancy feels weird or something doesn't feel right, because their OB might say, oh, it's fine that your baby is like this, but they know, and their mama knowing that something isn't right. So they can come to our office and feel heard and feel understood. Not saying we can, fix whatever it is, but we can at least give them some compassion and not just say, oh, this is normal, let's schedule your C-section.
So the term Webster technique, unless someone knows about it, they don't care.
Right.
And it's an important thing, I think, to have on your website, but at the technique is, whether it's Webster or diversified or TRT or whatever, for the most part, individuals don't care. It's what's on the other side of it that we have to focus on. But as chiropractors, we often focus on the technique, or that we think that that's what makes us specialized. It's not. It's who we are, right? So your desire to create a community. I love that you said that the reality is the medical model may tell them, well, that's completely normal. Like you just have the normal headaches. You have the normal back pain with pregnancy. You have the normal whatever. It's common, but it's not normal. And something I think that Dr. Chelsea Rainey did a really great job. She taught us about moving from infertility to fertility at the Peds Boot Camp. Was, what if we make the goal pregnancy? And I mean, health. And if in the process you become pregnant, bonus. But what you're really saying about what you do too is, hey, mama, what kind of birth and pregnancy do you want to have? And then anything that isn't happening for the, whatever would happen that indicates that it's not a healthy birth or not a healthy pregnancy or not a healthy birth, I can come alongside you and help you. Whatever your ideal is for pregnancy and birth, that's what I'm here to help facilitate. Just like let's focus on health and pregnancy as the byproduct. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
And I think you're saying the same thing. Maybe just a different emphasis, but how cool that they can come and get help from a collaboration of like-minded individuals in the same spot. I love that. So Sarah, as we wrap this up, what words of advice do you have for a student who eventually wants to open their own practice, or somebody who's going in to practice? How has the boot camp helped you move from doubt and confusion to confidence and opening?
one of my absolute favorite things from the boot camp is the community and also accountability within the community. Like right now we're in the 90-day sprint challenge, which I'm still in my associateship, so my numbers aren't the same as what they will be when we do finally open next month. But it's helped me to actually start to like tally and count the numbers. So, and I just, like I said, I just did the numbers for last month that I saw. I brought my office personally almost $25,000 of revenue. So,
Congratulations.
so if I can do that, you know, for somebody else, and I have absolutely no doubt that I'll be able to do it for our own personal office and then some, because I have a sounding board to be like, what do you think about this? Or, you know, what should my logo look like? Or literally anything. And people aren't holding their cards close to their chest. We want each other to succeed. So it's super, super easy and super welcoming, but also you get that little bit of a challenge that I like too, and a little bit of competition. So
Yes. And let's do a shout out for your team. Who's your team?
Can't Stop, Won't Stop.
Kay's team. Can't
Yep.
Stop, Won't Stop. Giving you all a shout out on that team. Great job. And great job to you, Dr. Sarah. I just, ever since you joined the boot camp, you've been right there soaking up as much as you can, asking questions, providing help too. Like you're not just there taking. I regularly see you jump in and help others and give your opinion, your perspective based on where you are. And so awesome. I'm excited for your April 1st opening. Congratulations to you. And thanks for joining me today. To all of you, have a wonderful day. And if you're in the boot camp, I'll catch you in 4 minutes for our live mastermind. Thanks. See ya. Bye-bye.
Bye.